Satellite communication. A satellite is an artificial body placed in an orbit around the Earth or another planet. The communication satellites relay around the world telephone and fax messages, television programs, radio signals, and so on. Principle of satellite communication. The process of communication begins at an Earth station. The Earth station is an installation designed to transmit and receive signals from a satellite in orbit around the Earth. Earth stations send information in the form of high-powered, high-frequency signals to satellites that receive and retransmit the signals back to Earth. These retransmitted signals are then received by other Earth stations in the coverage area of the satellite. The area which receives the signal from the satellite is known as the satellite's footprint. The transmission system from the Earth station to the satellite is called the uplink, and the transmission system from the satellite to the Earth station is called the downlink. Here you have the schematic representation of the principle of satellite communication. To avoid confusion, the uplink and downlink frequencies are kept different. Before designing a satellite communication system, we must choose the orbit in which the satellite is to be placed. Orbits are of three types, namely geostationary orbit or geosynchronous orbit, polar circular orbit, and inclined highly elliptical orbit. Geostationary or geosynchronous orbit. In this type of orbit, the satellite takes 24 hours to circle once around the Earth. Since the period of revolution of the satellite is equal to the period of rotation of the Earth, the satellite appears to be stationary in the sky. For this reason, this 35,900 kilometers high equatorial orbit is called a geostationary orbit. The geostationary orbit is also known as Clarke's orbit. This is in honor of Arthur C. Clarke, the man who first suggested in 1945 that satellites in geosynchronous orbits could be used for communication purposes. Entire Earth can be linked or covered by the communication network if three geostationary satellites are placed at the vertices of an equilateral triangle. Each of the satellites covers 1/3 of the globe. Polar circular orbit. This type of orbit is placed 1,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. It passes over the poles. The angle of inclination of this orbit is 90 degrees. It scans the whole Earth in every 12 hours. Satellites used for weather monitoring are launched into a polar orbit. Inclined highly elliptical orbit. It is used for establishing communication with regions at high latitudes. The angle of inclination is equal to 63 degrees.